Welcome, reading one. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you were drawn to the imagery of the hands holding what appears to be a match. So, I'm going to pull this is a stack, by the way. It's more than one card. Some had just one card and some had a stack. This one had a stack. So, also, I was drawn to use natural light today, okay? Because I actually have it. So, bitch fire, stand up for yourself. These are messages from spirit to stand up for yourself. It's also number 16, if that means anything to you. Also, if you put 16 together, it's the number 7, so that can mean something. So, stand up for yourself. I'm getting from spirit, it's time to speak your truth. You need to stand up for yourself. You need to tell people if you don't want to do something, you don't do it. No means no. Don't do it just because blah, blah, blah. The boundaries must be set. And it can be uncomfortable when we have to set boundaries with people. Sometimes we have to continue to reinstate those boundaries. And that's when we start to ask ourselves, do we want to be in a relationship with someone that I have to constantly reinstate my boundaries? Because sometimes when, you know that old saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander? Not necessarily. Not every goose is the same. And when we start putting ourselves into this, like, oh, be like this person or be like everybody else or whatever, it's like that is not helpful to our own personal development, because we are allowed to say that makes me uncomfortable. I don't like that. Thank you. Please don't do that again. I feel like for some of you, I'm hearing from the ancestors that it's literally, for some of you, it's an ancestor. I kind of feel like either you're living with a grandparent or you're the child and you're living with your parents, and it's either that or maybe you spend a lot of time at your parents' house, and I feel like the grandparent is trying to tell you how to raise your children, kind of thing, like they're crossing the line. Now, this could just be for one person, so I understand that's a very sensitive issue, but at the same time, if this is, oh, I got the chills. If this is where you are right now and this is where you live, you still have a right to have boundaries with them, and you can do it in a loving way and say, I would really appreciate it if, this or that, like, ask, can we have a conversation? Can we have a loving conversation? Some people, that's who they are, and they may change and they may not change. And if they're an elder, in that elder status, that's really, really hard, especially if, like, you are living with your grandparents and they're trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm also getting like a very, like, kind of 1% vibe, meaning like old school vibe, like if it was good for my father, it's good for me, it was good for you, kind of thing. My way or the highway. This is just a really toxic energy for you to be around. And this could be your boss. I'm getting the chills there. This could be it could be a friend. One time I had a friend that, it was very odd. Like, growing up, I always had people around me of all different age groups, and I most of the time would, just literally flock to people older than me, because I didn't know at the time that I am what I am now. And so kids my age and stuff, they didn't understand. I couldn't, like, really talk to them. I felt like they were babies, and I didn't want to be a jerk, but I just wanted to be with older people. But I didn't get the same respect from the older people. They still looked at me as a child, and I took that on. And I'm starting to see how, even if you're 20 years old and you're watching this right now, if you have an 80-year-old, grandparent or friend, family member, a boss, you are still allowed to say, listen, I have a voice and this doesn't feel right to me. And I would really appreciate it if you would treat me with a little more respect. obviously, you know, if it's a job, be like, you know, obviously I'm here. You want me here, but it's like, I'm not here to be your person to beat up, to, you know. Also, I'm getting, interestingly enough, so this rainbow calcite was, you know, kind of like, looked like mountains. It looked like a lot of different things. I don't know if you noticed, it even looked like it had like a little eye in there. Kind of cool. Let me see if I can get in there. Do you see that? It looks like an eye. It looks like a face. Like, you know, maybe you guys are my scryers. You know, I'm kind of getting a scrying vibe. But also, I'm hearing that you were put in this situation for a reason. Did you see how the light went up? To be the light. Because that's what you are. But I feel like you're bitching and you're complaining and you're angry and you're pissed off, but you're not really doing anything about it. And Spirit's like, well, you know, all we can do is, you know, it's like right now, it's like you're the one that's keeping yourself in the darkness, because if you're talking about somebody, that's dark energy. If you're, you know, if you're thinking negative thoughts about somebody, that's dark energy. Instead of like talking to the person, and if it's somebody that you can't talk to or you can't even have a conversation with, then I kind of am getting the vibe from Spirit, well, like, there's your answer. By the way, I just saw it almost look like a dragon or a seahorse over here. So if that means anything to you guys. Okay, so I'm going to keep going because I feel like they want me to do this. So I'm just going to do what they say. Okay, the next one. Oh, number 31. We're all just stardust. That's what they want you to remember. Is like, even if they're pissing you off, it's number 31. 3 and 1 is 4. 4 is all about balance, laying the foundation. It's also 13 backwards. You know, and look at how the number is covered up where the bitch fire is, because it's like, and this rainbow calcite has broken so many times. It was a much bigger piece, and I love how it always kind of emulates a heart, and no matter which direction I put it in, if you look at it close enough, you can see that. But also right here, I'm almost seeing like a bird, like an eagle. You know, I'm just feeling like you guys are super, super, super powerful, and you tend to take the back seat and kind of walk the line, so to speak, to keep everybody happy. And Spirit's like, well, how's that working for you? You know, and you're like, not really good. And they're like, so just remember that we're all stardust. And even when you're starting to get angry about this person, maybe don't have anger. I had a moment earlier with my husband where we were talking about something, and he's like, you're angry like every day. And I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, I'm such a happy person. Also, they wanted me to draw the eyes to Saturn. Some of you might be going through your Saturn return, so you may want to look into that as well. That's for you to research, Saturn return. Okay. But it's almost like, I feel also that some of you guys are hands-on healers, or you're just natural healers, because I feel like you can get it when you need it, right? So say you're having a bad day, a shitty day, or something's happening or whatever. You may get pissed and you may talk about it or whatever, but you're always going to find yourself back to this kind of like peaceful place where you're like, oh man, you know, we're all just stardust, and like praying for that person and praying for yourself and saying, forgive me for being so angry. You know, I really didn't mean it, you know, kind of thing. And Spirit's like, we know. You're going through something right now. But another thing is, when we don't stand up for ourselves and we're hiding how we really feel about somebody, when we're like in, you know, in hiding, because that's what it feels like. I feel like your light's like in hiding, and you give it when you feel like it. And Spirit's like, yeah, but it's like, what if you balanced it out, the 31, right? And 4. And that might even be an age for some of you guys. 31. Or someone you're dealing with is 31. You know, what if, you know, what if your mindset was like that we're all just stardust? That we are one. And whatever they're going through is what's happening to me too. Even when they're trying to bully you or get you to make a decision, like we've been having that recently, and that's hard. I understand that. But that's when you really, this is when we're literally being tested the most. And I hate that word. I really do. I don't like to use the word hate either, but I detest the word test, because I feel like they're challenges for us to overcome. I don't feel, meaning, like, let's put it this way. Is it a test of some kind? Yes, but I don't feel like, you know, the gods, the goddesses, you know, the divine creators, wherever we come from, whatever we are, I don't think that they're up there like people think, like the gods and goddesses, like we're toys. I don't believe that. I think that's a perception that somebody has, and it's a distorted perception, or it's something that has happened on earth before, but it's not happening here, or it's happening somewhere else. I believe that right now, the fact that you have two of your very first two cards are hands, if you're not familiar with this deck, it's not all hands. You know, I mean, you saw in the when you went to pick the reading, right? Like there's other things. So the hands mean something too. So this could even be for some of you. I feel like for some of you are asking like, what's your purpose? What you're meant to do? You're meant to bring light, and you're meant to be a hands-on healer. I mean, look at that. They've literally have stardust coming out of their hands, light coming out of their hands, fire. You could be fire signs too, Aries, Leo, and Sag. But I definitely am feeling, I want to go down a bit so you can kind of see the way it's going to glow. You know what I mean? Like, give it a chance to glow. And I feel like for some of you too, like you need a glow up. I feel like it's time for a glow up, maybe a makeover, you know, even a new haircut. Don't cut bangs unless you're ready to commit to bangs. Don't get crazy unless you really need to ever hear that. Like, don't cut bangs when you're like really feeling desperate. It's like, don't cut bangs. It's like a funny thing because bangs take a minute to, you know, grow back, but they will grow back. So let's go on to your next card. We're all just stardust. Oh, look at that. Wings. Yes. Oh my goodness. Look at, oh my goodness. I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck because they're just so free. And I'm going to bring it forward. Look at their beautiful face. Calm, at peace. But I feel like for some of you, this could be that for some of you that are air signs, I also feel like, you're getting, for some of you, this is just like a little message from spirit. Like, don't get too caught up in your daydreams without doing something about it. Number 8 is also a number of infinity. Okay. So, you know, I know my husband's a triple Gemini, and sometimes I'm just like, whoa, I got to like pin him down. I got to pin him down because he's just floating away. He's just going off into his own world. Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra are air signs. So, and this could even pertaining to someone else in your orbit, in your atmosphere. The fact that their feet are off the ground, it says wings. You never needed those wings to fly. So it's okay to fly as long as you know, are going at it with love in your heart and with good intention. But if you're just like, la, 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 with like no purpose at all, and like you're seeing signs from spirit, but you're like, oh, that looks a little too hard. I'm just going to keep flying this way. Or, oh no, that looks uncomfortable or challenging. I don't want to deal with that. I want to fly this way. Spirit's like, yeah, but you know, you obviously know you don't need wings to fly. You know what I mean? You know that you don't need wings to fly. However, that old saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. So get yourself tethered, get yourself grounded, and connect to spirit. I think it's interesting too that we've got, you know, it's like you've got this like fairy flying up in the air, and on either side of them is like hands. It's like spirit saying, we got you. Like, we have got you. You never needed those wings to fly. The more you fly on your own, the more you're going to realize that you never needed someone to hold you up, or, you know, it's like you're your own best friend kind of thing. You know what I mean? Okay. And so the next one is, I'm like, we're running out of room, but we're going to make it work. I feel like I'm going to figure this out. Oh, confidence, and it's upside down. Interesting. This doesn't surprise me. Okay. So confidence, it comes with time and practice. Also, look at this. This is a sword, and swords in the tarot are air signs. So either you guys are air signs or you're dealing with an air sign. Also, look at this. We got more light up above there. Number 23 is also the number 5, change and transformation. Change and transformation. All right, hold on. Okay, and just so you know, one of my spirit guides is like RuPaul. And so this is not me trying to like mock another like race, gender, anything specific. Okay, but I literally just heard from one of my spirit guides that said, bitch, stand up for yourself. But like, think of RuPaul in your head, because she was like, bitch, stand up for yourself. You are fire. You are fire. So that's what I'm saying. We've got fire and we've got air. So there's something going on here, you know. And I love that if you look at it in order, it's like they had me I mean, obviously confidence would be, you know, sorry, my sweatshirt's in the way, but obviously confidence would be over here, but they're having me do it like this. And we're going to pull one more card. And you guys, if you've been here before, you know, I like to have like a culmination, like, you know, um, but I think it's interesting because we've got stand up for yourself. Basically what I'm saying is that this is all gonna, it's all gonna make more sense too. If it's not clicking already, it will. And if this hasn't clicked with you yet, I'm most likely this isn't your reading, but there could be some pearls at the end. So maybe it's for, you know, you're gonna, maybe this is a friend of yours and you're like, wow, this is what they're going through, and you're gonna like translate the information. I don't know. But anyway, I feel like it's interesting here because it starts with bitch fire, stand up for yourself. Then we go to confidence. It comes with time and practice, right? To stand up for yourself. It takes confidence to stand up for yourself. And it does take time and practice to do it in a loving and a kind way, because most people are working from their own level. Well, we're all working from our own level of consciousness, but most people are not coming from the same place that you are. You know, especially whomever this is about, because I feel like this is at least one person who's kind of like standing in your way, or like is kind of blocking like something. Because I feel like this is who you are in your head. This is how you feel, but like this is how the world makes you feel when you're outside. But this is how you really feel. And that's like another RuPaul saying, you never needed wings to fly. Like, you got those wings. Like, don't even worry about it. And the universe is saying, because we're all stardust. We all die. We all, anybody who's here, I mean, Avatar keeps coming up over and over and over. I haven't even seen it. I mean, it hasn't even been dropped yet. And I just can't, I mean, seriously, my husband and I are both like, I said, that's like one of the few things that I feel like I have to go to the theater, even though as an empath, I have a hard time. I'm like, I think this one would be different, because I think it'd be cool to be in that energy with everybody. We'll see what spirit says, but it's okay to live in the fantastical, because who's saying that Avatar's not real? What if like the avatars, and like, I forget the name of them, but you know, and the blue avatars, like, what if they are like the quote unquote real whatever, and the human beings are the avatars? You know, it's like, I mean, I don't know if that is what that's going to be about, but you know, I'm just saying, like, it's like the chicken and the egg right now. And I feel like you're kind of locked up in this world, and maybe in your third dimensional like job, or where you're living, or just, I just feel like there's something massive that's like holding you back from feeling like this is, you know, like that, you know, this, you know what I mean? Also, I feel like you kind of fly to this energy and stay away from this energy. And the bitch fire, I feel it's almost like you put your fire out, or like maybe you have a lot of fire in your sign, or you have like one part of your astrology, you know, that like one bit of you that's like more fire intensive, if that makes any sense. And I feel like that's what helps you to stand up for yourself. Like, and like, there's this really beautiful angel I met recently, and her name is Holly. And we just had this great conversation. She's like, you know, I'm so kind, I'm gentle. And she's like, but like, don't go toe to toe with me. And I said, no, I'm the same fucking way. I'm like, I totally know what you're talking about. So I feel like that's you guys. But Spirit's trying to get us, myself included, they're trying to get us to like stop, you know, feeling like we have to turn on these switches for different people. Like we have to be chameleons, especially if you're an empath, you know, and you're changing your energy and changing like who you are for whomever you're dealing with. That's a lot of stress and pressure, isn't it? Right? Like having to like keep up with someone else's energy like that. That's way, 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 way too stressful. So the next card, and I think it might be our last card. Oh, interesting. Yep, last card. And again, upside down. The sun. Oh, and another light. Look at all this light, you guys. Number 11. Yes, your angels, your earth angels. And it's, you know, this piece, this rainbow calcite's all about like really like honing in on our creativity. So it says, paint the sun back into your sky. Yeah. Don't let other people's, you know, what they think of you, or what, you know, like, don't let that get to you. Look at the sun. The sun's here, the light there. And here, I feel like when you're floating away, I feel like maybe like when this is you, like when you're at work, right? Like you're floating, and it doesn't matter if you're divine, feminine, masculine, whatever you align with. It's just the imagery. And I just heard drag queens. We love you. Absolutely. You know, but I feel like this is like when you're at these other jobs and you're miserable or whatever, it's like, this is what you do. You just kind of like fly off to like this world in your head. But they're saying like, why do you have to keep flying away you know? And if you are going to fly away, fly towards something, not away from something, because it's almost like if this is your castle. Ooh, I just got another whole different message here. And I feel like for some of you, this is your home, and that you feel the happiest when you're going away from your home. So that, yeah, there's something going on here for about home life for sure. Oh, my heart goes out to you. I do. I feel, because I'm feeling my own things with that too. And there's nothing worse than like not feeling comfortable in your own home. I talked about this recently about Beyonce, that song Listen, it's, she's like, I'm not at home in my own home. Like, that's not fucking cool. There's nothing, like, what is good about that? Nothing. We should all feel comfortable and safe in our own home. That's really serious. All right, so I'm going to see if they want me to. Sometimes I like to, hold on one second, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'll give you a chance to look at that and see what it means to you. But I will say this, the sun is in the middle, because I feel like that for some of you who are watching this reading one, I feel that you have air or fire in your sun, for your sign. So, that'll kind of help you too, to lean a little bit more for like which part of this message aligns with you. Because I do feel like there are many messages in here. Maybe every single bit of it aligns with you. Maybe it's just a little bit here and there. But I am definitely feeling that the sun is like the center of the story. I mean, even to the fact that it's like on either card, like on either side here, I thought this was interesting. It's like this one's kind of like in the darkness. Like you see Saturn and there's like the stars in her hands, but like, you know what I mean? But in here, it's like the same thing. Like there's like some stars and stuff floating around her. But it's like kind of cloudy skies. It's dark skies. It's dark. Here comes out my Scottish, or wherever I came from. But when you look at these, it's like you've got a sun here, and the fire, which is the sun. So there's something around that as well. And if the sun card in the tarot is a really, really positive card. So you may want to research that as well. Or if you're a tarot person, you already know what that means. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like the universe is saying to you, listen, we're all just stardust. And confidence comes with time and practice. As we grow, as we age, then it says, paint the sun back into your sky. So bring happiness back into your life. What makes you happy? What makes you light up? What makes you just want to soar through the sky? And whatever that is, stand up for yourself and tell X, Y, and Z, whomever it is that's like in your, way. Say like, I don't want to deal with your darkness anymore. I want my light to shine. I was born to shine. I was born to be this light feathered creature, and fly away from whatever situation isn't working for you. Because it's really, really, it's messing with your creativity and your confidence. Because I feel like this isn't necessarily how you've always been. It's just, I feel like maybe you've been in the shadow of somebody else for too long. All right, you guys, I hope those messages helped you in any way. I love you so much. Spirit loves you so much. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you at the next reading. Blessed be. Ahhh.